NBA, the Dynasty, what's going on? It's the League Manager Commissioner Flex. Bring you guys the Week 2 edition of the Fantasy Flex. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. So let's get up into last week's matchups. They went a little something like this. First matchup you had was between the Knicks and the Bulls. The Knicks taking that matchup 10-4. So 10 categories, 4 categories gives you the 1 win. Obviously, that's the way these standings or settings are set for this league. Second matchup went between the Golden State Warriors and the Orlando Magic. That was a close matchup there. That tilt went to the Magic, 7-6-1. So the Magic taking that one. And we move on up to our next matchup, which was between the Lakers and the Mavericks. The Lakers taking that matchup 8-4-2. So we had 2 ties in that matchup. However, the Lakers come out on top. And we move on to our fourth matchup of last week, which was between the Celtics and the Hawks. Tight matchup there. That one went 8-6 in favor of the Celtics. And we move on to our last matchup of last week's Week 2 matchups, which went between the Spurs and the Trailblazers. The Spurs take that one 8-6. And let's move up into a preview of this week's matchups. This week you got the 1-1 Hawks taking on the 2-0 New York Knicks, followed by the 0-2 Mavericks taking on the 0-2 Bulls. So both teams seeking their first win on the year so far. The Boston Celtics still looking to be undefeated, going up against the Orlando Magic, who are 1-1. The Celtics, by the way, are 2-0. Obviously, due to that, we're going into the third week of the year. Next matchup puts the Golden State Warriors with their 0-2 record, looking for their first win up against the Portland Trailblazers, who are 1-1. And then you got the San Antonio Spurs, who are undefeated with a 2-0 record, taking on the Lakers, who have a strong team. However, right now they're sitting at 1-1. They had a tight matchup last week. And that's a preview for Week 3 so far. So let's get up into the standings and the league leaders. Let's see here. In the East Division right now, that's being headed by 2 teams. The Knicks and the Celtics both sitting on top with 2-0 records. Then at 1 game back with 1-1 records would be the Atlanta Hawks and the Orlando Magic. And the Bulls down there at 0-2 on the bottom of the division. Moving on up to the west side, you got the San Antonio Spurs holding that down solely with a 2-0 record. Then you got 2 teams that are 1-1, which would be the Lakers and the Trailblazers, both 1 game back. Then you got the last 2 0-2 teams in the league, which would be the Mavericks and the Warriors, both 0-2, both 2 games back in their division. And we get up into this, the main course of the show. Let's get up into the season stats so far, see who's holding out, see who's doing what. Let's take a look here. Looks like right now, field goals made, that's going to the Celtics with 968 field goals made. He's plus 10 up on that because the Lakers are right behind him. He's got 953. Field goal percentage, that's going to go to the Lakers with shooting with a high 48%. The Hawks are right behind him with a low 48%. I'm not going to worry about the percentage points. That's just who's in first and who's in second, baby. Moving on up to the free throws made, that's going to the Celtics, who are holding that category down by 1. The Knicks are right behind him with the 4th with 534. The Celtics have 535 free throws. Free throw percentage, that's going to go to the Golden State Warriors, shooting 81% on the year so far. Right behind him are the Knicks, who are shooting at a mid 80%. 3-pointers made is going to the Lakers with 162. The Knicks are right behind him, 3 behind with 159 3-pointers made on the year. 3-point percentage is going to the Atlanta Hawks with a high 39%, just edging out the Lakers, who also have a high 39%, just by mere tenths of a point. Offensive rebounds is going to the Hawks, 280 offensive rebounds. There are plus 22 up on that category. The Celtics are behind him there. Overall reboundings, that's also going to the Hawks. They have over 1,000, so big ups to the Hawks owner. Basically, they're grabbing everything. So James Jones holding that down. Very active owner. Played him in 2 of my baseball leagues. Shouts outs. His first one bring up to 1,000 rebounds. Assist category is going to the Celtics with 591 assists on the year so far. He's plus 30 up on that category above the Blazers, who have 562. Steals is going to the Celtics as well. They got 204 in the year. They're plus 20 up on that. The Trailblazers are right behind him with 181. Blocks is going to the Knicks with 134 blocks. They are plus 12 up on the Hawks, who have 126. Or plus 8, excuse me. Turnovers is going to the Bulls, who have the least amount of turnovers on the year so far, 191 turnovers. The team with the most turnovers will go to the Celtics, who I believe is the team that has the most assists. So that normally goes hand in hand. Personal fouls, the team with the least amount would be the Chicago Bulls with 258. The most personal fouls is going to the Knicks with 475. Yay for me. Points is going to the Celtics with 2,605 points. They're 200 points up, or 10 points up on the Lakers, who have 2,496. And the team with the least amount of points right now is going out to the Chicago Bulls with 1,641 points. And let's see. That looks like that's all the league leading standings there. Everything thrown into one. This has been the Fantasy Flex. Week 2. I just want to thank all you guys for being active, keeping it here, keeping it popping. And this is Flex. Flex out. See you guys for the Week 3 edition of the Fantasy Flex.